Have you ever wondered what it's like living without connection? Without the endless possibilities we have at our fingertips? Being digitally connected to the world around us is fundamental to our everyday lives. With connection comes better access to healthcare, education, and vast opportunities to grow. It opens doors that we didn't even know were shut and enables us to dream of endless possibilities. Yet, the connection we take for granted is a distant dream for so many. 2.7 billion people living remotely are still awaiting the transformation that digital connection brings them and their communities. For more than 3 decades, Huawei's tireless mission has been to connect the unconnected across jungles, oceans, deserts, and the world's most challenging terrains. No matter where they are in the world, helping businesses thrive and communities grow stronger is the greatest reward. With its innovative Rural Star solution alone, Huawei has connected over 60 million people in rural communities in more than 70 countries across the world. This is just the beginning.
Video rightly says, this is just the beginning, both literally of this event, of course, Connectivity Plus, Innovate for Impact, and more importantly, of the ongoing challenge to bring stable, qualitative connectivity to everyone worldwide. There are still, as we heard, 2.7 billion people who remain unconnected to the internet. And we have to ensure that all of us have the digital skills to share in the opportunities that connectivity brings. So welcome to you all here in Shenzhen and to the hundreds of journalists and non-journalists joining us online, and also at sister sessions that are taking place from Asia to Latin America. This event is being live streamed in 8 major languages, which I think reflects the global importance of connectivity. And over the course of the next 2.5 hours, we'll be discussing the power, the potential, and the challenges in delivering stable and continuous network connectivity. It's much more than the ability just to make a call. Network capabilities have grown to become essential, enriching our lives and allowing us to more effectively connect to the digital society. And along with the commitment to skills training and constant ICT innovation and upgrading, that together is Connectivity Plus. And as this forum and the guests who have kindly agreed to participate testifies, I think, this is about a shared endeavor. Yes, private technology companies such as Huawei, but also partners, carriers, policymakers, customers, international organizations, and indeed the media, together create this digital ecosystem and bring us all closer to fully connected societies. So deeper, wider, and with those 2.7 billion people, more inclusive. So it's great that today, physically or online, we'll be hearing from such an array of influential figures. We'll have keynote speeches and debate the core issues around Connectivity Plus with senior leaders from the International Telecommunication Union, the United Nations, business organizations, customers, experts, partners, and also an array of communication ministers and chairs of regulators from Cambodia, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and Nigeria. So again, a really warm welcome to you all. But to kick off, let's hear first from the chairman of the board of directors of Huawei, Dr. Liang Hua. Dr. Liang.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome to today's forum. The theme of our event is Connectivity Plus Innovate for Impact. Today, we will explore how we can innovate together to drive broader connectivity in the digital economy era, and how we can use ubiquitous connectivity to create greater business and social value and promote sustainability. To begin, I would like to share 3 real cases and our thoughts on the digital future. The first is about how a digital platform is saving lives in Nigeria. Delivering the right medical supplies as quickly as possible can be a matter of life and death. LifeBank, a local digital health platform, connects hospitals with supply centers, offers real-time access to blood and oxygen products via end-to-end management from sourcing and location to tracking and delivery. When a hospital urgently needs blood, it can log in to the platform and submit a request. The dispatch rider then uses mobile location services to find the quickest route to the hospital. In this way, it ensures that blood rapidly reaches those in need, safeguarding health and lives. The second is about how AI is protecting a wetland in Italy. It is actually a wetland in Grosseto, Italy. The oasis consists of sand dunes and Mediterranean forests and is home to more than 300 species of birds. In recent years, it has been plagued by poaching and illegal logging. To address this, the WWF, Huawei, and Rainforest Connection came together in 2019 and developed an AI and cloud-based acoustic monitoring system. It works by deploying mobile devices throughout the wetland that operate 24/7, even in extreme conditions, and collect huge amounts of audio data that are then transmitted to the cloud over local mobile networks. The data is analyzed by AI. The system gives alerts whenever it detects the sound of illegal logging, contributing to local conservation and restoration. The third case is about how connectivity is driving mobile payments to enable financial inclusion in Bangladesh. The country has 165 million people, making it one of the most densely populated nations in the world. Over 70% of its people live in rural areas where major banks struggle to reach customers. Making deposits and withdrawals is not easy for the people, as it requires traveling a long way to the bank, provide documents, and then open a bank account. But now, bCash, a local payments platform, and Huawei have launched a mobile e-wallet service. People can use the app to deposit and withdraw money on their phones. If they cannot download the app, they can still register using short codes or at telecom shops to enjoy transfer, withdrawal, and payment services. Advances in connectivity have reshaped transaction models, changing our lives and driving social progress. Connectivity plays an important role in every aspect of our lives. It makes lives easier and healthier, economy stronger, and the environment greener. We are now moving from the mobile internet era to the all things connected, intelligent era. Connectivity will be more than just a tool for easy communications. Together with digital technologies like cloud and AI, connectivity will enhance digital access and drive social progress. It is essential for those benefits to reach all, because we believe that connectivity is not just the cornerstone of the digital economy, but a basic right for every human being. We're working with industry organizations and partners in the following 2 aspects to realize technology inclusion. First, enhancing digital literacy and talent development to bridge the digital divide. Bringing stable connectivity to all remains a challenge. Many people around the world remain unconnected, so connecting them is the first step, paving way for better access to knowledge, digital training, and opportunities. According to the GSMA's Mobile Economy Report 2022, Only 6% of the world's population live in areas without mobile network coverage, but a huge usage gap remains, as many people who have coverage still don't use the internet. In 2021, the usage gap was 3.2 billion people, or 41% of the world's population. So there is still a long way to go before everyone has easy access to quality internet services. For more than 30 years, Huawei has committed itself to pushing the boundaries of ICT and promoting global adoption. By working closely with operators from around the world, we have built over 1,500 networks that connect more than 3 billion people in more than 170 countries and regions. In China, we have helped operators expand the coverage of high-speed mobile networks and make 4G or even 5G networks accessible to almost every rural village. Globally, Huawei's Rural Star solutions have connected even more people, providing easier access to information and services, from border towns in Africa to uncovered white zones in developed regions. By the end of 2021, Huawei's Rural Star solutions had helped connect 60 million people in remote areas in more than 70 countries. Today, we are happy to announce that Huawei is making a pledge to ITU's Partner to Connect. By 2025, Huawei's ICT solutions will bring connectivity to 120 million people in remote areas from over 80 countries. In addition to connectivity, we support inclusive development and are working to drive digital inclusion through our Tech for All program. By the end of 2021, the Tech for All program had helped more than 110,000 people, including teachers and students from over 400 schools and unemployed young people, learn digital skills and improve their scientific and technological literacy. In addition, each month, the accessibility functions on Huawei devices help 4.4 million visually impaired users and over 800,000 hearing impaired users use digital technology more seamlessly. Second, accelerating digitalization with closer integration of the digital and the real economy. The digital economy has become a key enabler of the global economy. It's growing faster, spurring more innovation, and creating greater impact than any other segment of the economy. It's estimated that over 50% of the global GDP will be digitized this year. Closer integration of the digital and the real economy will drive industry transformation with digital technologies and contribute to economic stability and sustainability worldwide. Digital technologies like 5G, cloud computing, and AI have been converging and implemented at a faster pace. 5G, as a new generation of connectivity technology, has become a key enabler as it supports stable data transmission, real-time computing, and always-on services. 5G has the potential to improve productivity and create significant value for society. In agriculture, drones that use 5G and AI can enable precision weeding to help reduce pesticide use. Agricultural production becomes safer and more eco-friendly. In coal mines, 5G has enabled remotely controlled operations. The miners can now work from offices above ground. The working environment is much better, and the mines are safer. In ports, 5G and Level 4 autonomous driving are enabling automatic and intelligent loading, unloading, stacking, and more. Ports are now safer and more efficient. However, there is a growing digital divide or a digital gap between the SMEs and the leading enterprises. Since SMEs are working on the first step of digital transformation, trying to get everything connected. To this end, Huawei announced last year that it will invest $100 million into the Spark program in the Asia-Pacific region over the next 3 years. We share our extensive ICT experience and cloud platform resources with startups. This gives them the resources needed to go digital and achieve business success. Ladies and gentlemen, the intelligent world is fast approaching. New connectivity technologies such as 5.5G, F5.5G, and Net 5.5G will bring new business value and greater social value. Upholding the principle of openness, collaboration, and shared success, we will innovate together with global partners to maximize the impact of connectivity, promote greater sustainability, and build a better, fully connected, intelligent world. Thank you very much.
Dr. Liang, many thanks. And to pick up on that theme of providing meaningful connectivity, I think you call it a basic right for every human being. Let's watch a snapshot of that in action and a short taster video about the sheer effort that is required across mud, jungle, open seas, and more besides, to start to connect Indonesia's 17,500 islands.
Nature have given Papua a very beautiful landscape.
Mata, kenapa selalu ke jembatan sini untuk telepon?
Habis di rumah kan tidak ada sinyal. Jadi satu jalannya harus kita datang di jembatan biar suara itu kedengaran. Karena mau telepon bapak toh. Halo.
Suara hilang-hilang, jaringan apa?
Suara hilang-hilang, jaringan. Setengah mati sekali.
Indonesia ini negara dengan luas wilayah yang terdiri dari daratan dan lautan, ya, 7 juta kilometer persegi, ya. Terdiri dari 17.500 pulau yang harus kita hubungkan semuanya. Maka yang harus kita lakukan adalah menjangkau keseluruhannya dengan cara memperkecil digital divide, memperkecil yang belum terhubung.
Huawei have deployed tens of thousands of sites in Indonesia. From a technical viewpoint, it's not the big problem. The material have to deliver from Jakarta to Sorong, Sorong to Biak, Biak to another island, and then to the site. So it's a long journey. However, the weather, the route, and the circumstance in this very remote area, Papua, is big issues.
Ada beberapa tim sempat bermalam di jalan karena mobilnya kandas, tertanam di lumpur. Kami ngiranya itu tim kenapa-kenapa, ternyata pas tim ngabarin mobilnya kandas di jalanan lumpur.
We need to make sure all the workers are safe. Telecommunication have quite a lot of challenge. I think one of the risks is about work on height.
Pekerjaan di Papua sih hampir semuanya itu adventure semua. Nggak ada perjalanan yang enak gitu, nggak pernah ada.
Ada satu site. Jadi setelah sampai ke desa, dari desa menuju site itu harus jalan lagi 3 km. Tim harus membawa alat-alatnya sendiri sejauh 3 km.
Kami siap untuk
barang ini harus dibangun. Karena saya tahu bahwa kalau barang ini ada berarti koordinasi atau komunikasi untuk masyarakat bagus, gampangkan untuk mereka. Kami ingin sekali harus barang ini dibangun.
Halo Pak Dwi. Halo.
Halo, selamat sore Pak Umar.
Ya, berarti ini udah on air ya Pak Dwi ya?
Sudah Pak, silakan.
Sudah. Sangat senang. Semua sampai di Timika, pokoknya semua.
Kemarin belum ada jaringan bagus tuh, makanya ibu belum bisa dapat HP. Kalau jaringan tuh bagus pasti mama dapat HP, coba hubungi saudara di dia.
Paling canggih lagi.
Selamat siang. Ini lihat ini mama cuma menyimpan makan atau mau makan. Ini mama bicara dan kalian dong.
Sari ada makan. Ada lagi makan.
Ya.
Kami tidak cari jauh-jauh lagi. Lewat internet saja anak bisa cari untuk melamar.
Tujuan kita ngebangun di daerah Papua kan tujuannya sangat baik untuk membantu saudara-saudara kita merasakan layanan 4G.
Tempat usaha saya ini kalau mau dibilang sangat jauh dari jalan utama. Setelah posting-posting, itu kadang orang dari Jawa, dari Manokwari, dari Sorong Selatan atau dari Jayapura, Papua sana, mereka cari bahkan sampai ke tempat saya.
Jadi saya juga bisa coba untuk mencari soal matematika, bahasa Indonesia, dan juga IPA.
Pas pertama kali mereka bisa video dengan keluarga-keluarganya, tentu dalam hati kecil kita pasti kita bangga bisa membantu saudara-saudara kita. Kesan-kesan itu yang membuat kita makin semangat untuk bekerja, untuk mengaktifkan internet-internet yang belum aktif. Bisa menghadirkan kesetaraan internet untuk mereka, sangat bangga.
You can see the full-length version of that video on the Huawei.com website at the Media Center and via social media platforms. We saw in that film glimpses of how connectivity can transform lives in so many ways. And perhaps no one recognizes that more or understands and appreciates that more than our next two speakers. We'll be hearing in a moment from the United Nations Resident Coordinator in China, Siddharth Chatterjee. But first, hopefully, to Malcolm Johnson, who is going to be joining me, the Deputy Secretary General of the International Telecommunication Union, or ITU, and he should be online at this moment, and hopefully will speak now, complete with ITU flag. Malcolm, over to you.
Thank you very much, Gavin. It's a pleasure to join you at this important event, and let me start by thanking Dr. Liang for the invitation to be with you, and of course thank Huawei for its tremendous efforts to bring meaningful connectivity to everyone everywhere, including in some of the most challenging regions, as we've just seen in this video. I'm delighted that we have panelists joining this event from right across the ICT ecosystem, governments, international organizations, and the private sector. And what brings us together is the drive to extend the benefits of connectivity equitably and sustainably, especially to the 2.7 billion people that are still unconnected across the world. And this is despite steady progress in connectivity in coverage terms. ITU data shows that in 2022, 95% of the world population is within range of a mobile broadband network, but only 1 in 3 individuals that could go online do so. So our data spotlights that there are many digital divides. For example, the share of internet users is twice as high in urban areas compared to rural areas. In low-income countries, level of internet use stands at 22%, whereas in high-income countries, it's 91%. So it's clearly more of a problem than just connectivity alone. It must be affordable, of course, and the content must be relevant to people and in their own local language. Users must have the digital skills to make best use of it, and there needs to be a reliable energy supply. ITU's mission is to connect the world, and only then will the UN Sustainable Development Goals be achieved. This priority is reflected across all of ITU's work. The focus is on enhancing universal connectivity. Sustainable digital transformation was reinforced by ITU's membership at the recent plenipotentiary conference, with new goals and targets enshrined in the 4-year strategic plan for ITU. Bridging the usage gap requires a concerted approach, and ITU has built a network of partnerships spanning governments, industry, and international organizations. Our Partners to Connect digital coalition embodies this approach, mobilizing resources and catalyzing partnerships for meaningful connectivity. As of today, over 540 pledges have been submitted to the platform, valued at over $29 billion US. So I invite you all to join us on the 8th of December in our headquarters in Geneva to learn more about this partnership. And we will welcome everybody to come to that event. It'll be an opportunity to learn about the progress on implementing these pledges across its focus areas. I'd like to take this opportunity to extend my sincere thanks to Dr. Liang and Huawei for their support to this Partnership to Connect coalition and for the commitments that Dr. Liang announced today. Huawei's pledges directly address some of the challenges I mentioned earlier, delivering connectivity to 120 million people in remote areas across 80 countries by 2025, and working with the government of Cambodia, which is our first P2C partner country, to provide 10,000 digital skills training opportunities for ICT professionals by 2027. ITU is continually innovating in fields such as rural connectivity. Our work spans diverse areas from connecting remote and rural schools. This is with our partner UNICEF in a Giga initiative, to a focus group we have exploring the potential for artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, and 5G for digital agriculture. These and other areas are where optimal technology can really change lives. And the two lovely videos that we've just viewed clearly illustrate this. I've been fortunate to see it for myself on several occasions. And one example that I keep in mind very often is I visited a small village in a remote part of Thailand a few years ago, which had recently become connected to broadband as part of the Thai government project that received a WSIS prize, World Summit on Information Society prize. And villagers there were now selling their crops online. which had resulted in a 300% increase in their profits. And these profits had been used to connect the village school and give its pupils laptops. People who had left the village to find work in Bangkok were returning to the village. And in fact, the head of the village had been a telecom engineer working in Bangkok. So these are examples where it shows that connectivity can really change people's lives for the better. It's just one example of what we call meaningful connectivity in action, bringing better productivity, education, financial inclusion, and a better quality of life to the rural areas. Underpinning all this work are three important words: collaboration, cooperation, and coordination. They're my three favorite words because it's only through fruitful multi-stakeholder partnerships, such as the Partner to Connect, that we will achieve far-reaching results. In the face of unprecedented global challenges, we need digital technologies more than ever before to shape peaceful, sustainable societies and economies. So I look forward to hearing how we can better harness the power of partnership and our collective knowledge and expertise to make this a reality for everyone, everywhere. Thank you very much.
Many thanks, Malcolm. And I assume that Huawei, and I'm sure, would be very happy to echo those three favorite words of collaboration, cooperation, and coordination. As promised, let's hear now from Siddharth Chatterjee, who, as I said, is the UN's resident coordinator in China.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, greetings. I wish to thank Huawei for this invitation to speak at the Sustainability Forum 2022 and to congratulate Huawei and the chairman of the board, Liang Hua, for joining the International Telecommunications Union's Partner to Connect pledge and for their commitment to bridging the digital divide, particularly in remote communities. Digital technologies are transforming our societies and are advancing more rapidly than any set of innovations in our history, while reaching around 50% of the developing world's population in only the past 2 decades. Digital innovation can help accelerate sustainable development and build a better future. We have already seen how, during the height of the pandemic, e-commerce applications helped enterprises to stay in business. E-learning allowed children to continue studying, and telehealth platforms supported contactless medical consultations. We have also seen the opportunities the digital economy presents. A shift to a greener economy could create 24 million new jobs globally by 2030 if the right policies are put in place. However, we all know technology is not a silver bullet. Growing opportunities and the incredible potential created by digital dividends are accompanied by digital divides. For those with limited or no access to these technologies, there exists an increasing possibility of being left behind in the development process. Before coming to China, I served as the United Nations resident coordinator in Kenya, in a world of remarkable innovation where most of us can meet with our families and friends with just a video call. 70% of Kenyans still struggle to access even the most basic elements of internet connectivity or live with none at all in 2020. While infrastructure and smart devices from Huawei currently serve more than 3 billion people around the world, 2.7 billion people, or 1/3 of the world's population, remain unconnected to the internet in 2022. Now, this is a sobering reality, and it is imperative that we expand our horizons to ensure that all people around the world have access to digital technologies. Today, as we reach the milestone of 8 billion people worldwide, we should consider whether every member of our human family has a decent chance to share in the benefits of the digital age. As Mr. Antonio Guterres, the United Nations Secretary General, said at the G20 summit, and I quote, "We must close the digital divide by promoting digital literacy and giving access to the digital world to women and girls, migrants, rural and indigenous people." End of quote. Ladies and gentlemen, the digital divide penalizes vulnerable groups, while the financing gap to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals grows ever wider. Living in an age of digital interconnectivity, every person should have safe and affordable access to such services in line with the Sustainable Development Goals. Now more than ever, our dynamic world urgently needs improved digital cooperation to capitalize on transformational potential of technology, to create new jobs, boost financial inclusion, close the gender gap, spur a green recovery, and redesign our world to be more prosperous and inclusive. Now is the time to act. Our cooperation must be grounded in common human values such as inclusiveness, respect, human rights, transparency, and sustainability. In this time of rapid change and uncertainty, these shared values must be the path that we choose. We must bring far more diverse voices to the table, particularly from development countries and traditionally marginalized groups such as women, youth, indigenous people, rural populations, and older people. No country, institution, or company has the resources to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals alone. Practical digital cooperation requires multilateralism that should be complemented by multi-stakeholder partnerships, cooperations that not only involve governments but a diverse spectrum of relevant stakeholders such as civil society, academia, the private sector, including the technology industry. Together we can take action and innovate to realize the 2030 Agenda and its central promise to leave no one behind. We see how these partnerships can spur action from such a partnership forged during my time in Kenya. There, the government and the United Nations system convened the SDG partnership platform with companies including Huawei to translate the ambition of the Sustainable Development Goals into action on the ground, notably achieving a downward trend of maternal and child mortality in some of Kenya's most remote regions. Similar public-private partnerships hold promise in accelerating global progress on the Sustainable Development Goals. We hold a vision to help enable a world in which digital technologies are an empowering force for people and planet. Here, the United Nations and China is eager to serve as a link to leverage China's relevant development experience, notably in digital technology, for the benefit of other developing countries. We stand ready to offer our support and technical expertise. I look forward to productive discussions today. Thank you very much. 谢谢.
Some really fascinating and passionate insights and calls to action from the UN's Siddharth Chatterjee. We're very grateful to him, and also, again, thank you to Malcolm. I think you've both really ideally prepared the way for the two discussions, Connectors in Action, that will take us through this next hour or so. The first of these focuses on connecting the unconnected, again, those billions that we've heard about, and the second on moving from that core connectivity to realizing the true impact that it can enable. Planning, policy making, best practice, and case studies. And we've seen elements of both sides of those discussions, the connecting and the impacting, in the videos that we've shown already. I'm delighted that Professor Yin Haitao, the Vice Dean of the Antai College of Economics and Management at Shanghai Jiaotong University, has agreed to moderate these next two sessions. So let me pass over directly to you, Professor.
Thank you, Gavin. I'm truly honored to moderate this panel discussion. As we heard earlier, the theme for this panel discussion will be Connectivity Plus. So we are going to divide this panel discussion into two parts. For the first part, we are going to talk about, connect the unconnected, which we are going to address the issue how to advance our ambitious goal to achieve universal coverage. In the second part, the theme will be from connect to impact, in which we are going to talk about how to turn connectivity into real social impact, real social benefit. All right, so before we get started, I would like to lay out some rules for our discussion. So this panel discussion will proceed in an interactive fashion. I have prepared a list of questions. Our panelists will answer my questions, share their wisdom, share their insights accordingly. And because we have a very limited time, so I would like our panelists will limit their answer within 3 minutes. All right. So during the discussion, I hope all the panelists will do not mute in the session, in the panel discussion, to make sure everything moves smoothly. All right. So now, without further ado, let's move on to the first session, which is connect the unconnected. As mentioned a couple of times, before this panel discussion. Right now, we have 2.7 billion people actually unconnected. So that's a big concern. In this session, our primary concern is how to get those people involved, how to get these people connected, sharing the prosperity from our digital economy. We are very proud to have 4 prestigious speakers, panelists in this session. They are Mr. Dambata from Communication Commission, Nigeria. And we have Mr. Maxim Mushtaq from the Ministry of IT and Telecommunication, Pakistan. We are also very happy to have Katie Falk, who is the Managing Director from IDC China. And we are especially happy to have Mr. Cao Ming, who is able to join us on site, offline, who is the president of Huawei wireless product line. Let me borrow your hand and welcome Mr. Cao Ming onto the stage. All right, let's get started. So my first question, the first question I want to address to Mr. Dambata from the Communication Commission in Nigeria. So Mr. Dambata, we understand your commission is pushing very hard to achieve universal network coverage. Can you share with us the challenges you are facing in this process and the experience you have in dealing with these challenges? Thank you.
Indeed, it is my profound honor and gratitude to be invited to speak with you today. As at September 2022, active mobile internet subscriptions reached over 150 million from 90 million in 2015. Broadband penetration has equally reached 45.09%, while digital economy access gaps identified by the Commission are being drastically reduced. Many of these people live in hard-to-reach remote areas where it is impractical or too expensive to connect them. It is therefore imperative to come up with innovative infrastructure solutions to facilitate mobile network operators' deployment of cell sites in all disadvantaged areas. One such solution is Huawei's award-winning Rural Star solution. In Nigeria, operators such as MTN and IHS have deployed a total number of over 1,050 of Rural Star solutions, providing connectivity to over 10 million people across the country. As a result, Living in remote or rural communities no longer means missing out on the exciting opportunities offered by a digitally connected world. Ladies and gentlemen, this could only have been possible through NCC's effective regulatory regime and various initiatives. Some of these initiatives include, but are not limited to, 1. USPF interventions through subsidy to cover unsolved and underserved areas. 2. Review of rollout obligations for operators to cover rural areas. 3. Approval for the deployment of different rural connectivity solutions, such as the use of 800 megahertz spectrum for backhaul as well as access. 4. Stimulating uptake of services in rural areas through bandwidth provisioning in schools and the building of rural community centers. 5. Engaging government at state levels to eliminate multiple taxation and harmonize right-of-way charges. 6. Collaboration with sister organizations such as the National Broadcasting Commission to explore the use of TV white space in the lower 1 gigahertz band for rural connectivity and exploring the possibility of licensing of available lower sub 1 gig frequencies with large coverage area capabilities. These initiatives, among others, have continued to make Nigeria witness increase in its internet penetration and usage of digital media.
Thank you, Mr. Tabata. So my second question will be, directed to Mr. Mushtaq from Pakistan. So we know Pakistan has just released ROW policy, the right of rights of way policy to enhance fiberization policy in Pakistan. So Mr. Mushtaq, what challenges you have faced in this process and how Pakistan have made this implementation effective? Thank you.
Thank you very much. We released right-of-way policy in 2020. We have come a long way. We started with the Pakistan Telecommunication Act reorganization in 2006. In 2015, we gave the telecommunication policy, and in 2016, we gave this policy directive, which is Public and Private Right-of-Way Policy Directive. This policy directive has opened avenues for investors to enhance fiberization in Pakistan. Just to support this with figures, the spread of fiber footprints after this policy have increased from 124,000 kilometers to 86,000 kilometers, which is roughly 50% more than it was before in just a small span of 2 years. To further elaborate, we have issued 7 telecommunication infrastructure service provider licenses, 1 long-distance international license, and 25 local loops. So what are the significant provisions of this policy directive? Very shortly, this will enable us in fast-track operations. So we will be providing one window solution. It will be clear fee determination, that if a licensee has to provide, has to make a fair payment of fair fee, not exaggerated, it's not revenue generation, then we have provided for resolution of dispute within 60 days. Furthermore, it guards against health hazards which can occur due to radio station waves and antennas. It also provides that telecommunication installations are regarded as critical infrastructure. So when you brand them or label them as critical infrastructure, all the security agencies and law enforcement agencies provide support so that they are not damaged by the untoward elements. And then this policy also provides sharing of right of way in future that if one tower is to be shared by 3 telecom operators, this provides that. And lastly, it provides common service corridors. So the projects for Digital Pakistan, how this policy will help? It will help us in 5G readiness, SME connectivity scale up, and ease of doing business. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mashtaq. So, Mr. Cao, my next question will be for you. We all understand that, achieving universal connection is not an easy job, right? Our 2 ministers from Nigeria and Pakistan, they share their insights how we can utilize policy to push forward. Can you share with us how Huawei has facilitated this process through our technological innovation?
Yeah, I think for the remote areas connection, the big challenge is due to the poor infrastructure. Yeah, for example, in Nigeria, the local people always work several dozen of kilometers to get the nearest town to make a call. And in such areas, the power supply is also very poor. It's just several hours every day. So in such areas, it's very hard for them to build a normal base station, tower base station, like we can see everywhere in the cities. So how Huawei solve these problems? The first, because our rural star solutions, we reduced the weight, it's just around 10% of the normal size. So we changed the tower form from a very big iron tower to a very simple pole, even a wooden pole that the rural star can be installed. So this reduced the cost and the time dramatically. Thus, even in remote areas, we can deploy our base station very easily and with no cost. The second thing is, as we well know, in the remote areas, the fixed transmission is not available. We can't deploy the fixed network like fiber. And maybe someone say we can deploy the satellite, but the satellite is expensive, and the bandwidth is very limited. So we have our unique technology. We can use the operator's existing spectrum to do the transmission. The third one, because the rural star, for our rural star solutions, the power consumption is just 100 watts. So we can easily change the power supply from grid power or diesel generator to pure solar panel. For our rural star solutions, just 4 to 6 solar panels can make the site work for a day. So with our rural star solutions, more and more unconnected people are connected. So far, more than 70 countries around 60 million people are connected by our rural star solutions.
Thank you, Mr. Cao. Actually, I feel like Rural Star is really a classical example how business world can utilize their power to advance our sustainability goal. In the Rural Star cases, we not only say we have solved a social issue, right? Connectivity. We also make business sense. And also, we use solar power, we protect the environment. So environment, social equity, and as well as economic bottom line, we achieve all of this. That should be a very classical business case. All right, so now I would like to turn the table to Katie Falk from IDC China. We understand that you have served on the panel for GSMA's Innovative Solution for Emerging Market. So you must have seen a lot of examples, best practices. Can you share with us the new trends you have observed in this process?
Thank you for the questions. Instead of actually highlight individual cases, what I'd like to share, in fact, is actually our annual survey, in particular to cover agriculture business. And we just finished our survey results, so I would like to take this opportunity to share some of those results. So from our survey data, it has shown that FWA is the dominant means of providing internet access in agricultural business, which is about 60%, followed by cable for 22% and DSL for the rest. It is also very interesting to note that around 14% of our respondents actually used satellite internet service in 2022, which is double last year's survey. The number of access types have increased over this period of time as well, from an average of 1.8 to 2.2 per respondents. Farms are both a residence and the type of internet connection at a farm residence may be very different from that needed connection at a farm residence, may be very different from the need in the field, greenhouse, orchard, or bar, depending on the type of product and size of operation. Choice of internet access is particularly important. It depends on the number of employees, geographical area, and type of farming. For example, connected greenhouses are using more IoT sensors, automation, and remote sensing, and this will have higher connectivity demands than other categories, such as a wide area farming, which may need lower bandwidth access, much greater distance. What I want to highlight is it is important to choose the right connectivity solution for different parts of agricultural business. It can help improve the yield and the quality of the crops, and also address the other challenges of food security, climate change, water shortage, etc. Connectivity is expected to be an enabler to increase business and operational agilities and resilience, reduce costs, and improve business outcome and output as well.
Thank you, Katie. After this round of discussion, I trust our audience will learn a lot from our past experience, from policy perspective, from technology perspective, from a society perspective. So now let's move forward and look into the future and see in the future how we can, further strengthen our effort to achieve universal coverage. All right, so now let me turn to Mr. Tabata from Nigeria. So we learned that you already published a national broadband plan 2020 to 2025. Can you share with us the key areas of this plan and how its implications for rural people and business? Thank you.
So the Nigerian Communications Commission is driving effective implementation of the National Digital Economy Policy and Strategy 2020 to 2030 and the Nigerian National Broadband Plan 2020 to 2025 to drive the coverage of rural, unserved, and unserved areas of the country through reducing cost of broadband services and improving digital literacy and skills. Some of the key areas of the Nigerian National Broadband Plan document includes ensuring data download speeds across Nigeria of a minimum of 10 megabits per second in rural areas and 25 megabits per second in urban areas, with effective coverage available to at least 90% of the population by 2025 at a price not more than 0.89 United States dollar per 1 gigabit of data. These initiatives, participants reckoned, have transformed businesses with multiplier effect on Nigeria's GDP, in which the telecom sector contributes about 15% as at date from 8.5% in 2015. Ladies and gentlemen, through increasing connectivity, especially in unserved and underserved areas, we can help communities transform. Access to information can reduce poverty by educating and upskilling the youth, creating jobs, and improving lives. However, this can only be achieved through sustained collaborative effort of all stakeholders, from policymakers to international organizations to small, medium-scale entrepreneurs, and indeed to innovative solutions providers such as Huawei in partnership with the mobile network operators. I therefore commend Huawei's sustained efforts over the years in bridging the digital divide with its innovative solutions to ensure that we all connect the unconnected.
Thank you, Mr. Tambata. Thank you for sharing your plan for Nigeria. Now let's turn to Pakistan, because we also learned that in Pakistan, we launched national ITC white paper. So, Mr. Mastak, can you, in your view, how these initiatives can help enhance connectivity, particularly in the remote areas?
Okay. So, thank you very much for the question. We know that world is entering the era of digital economy and society, and ICT has increasingly becoming a key enabler of economic and social development. We saw during COVID that the distance education was very, very important, and all the institutions which had this access, they were able to respond to the COVID issues very promptly. So Pakistan has also an ambitious vision for digital transformation with the Digital Pakistan policy, and it has been dedicated to creating a holistic digital ecosystem and made remarkable achievement in recent years. The white paper intends to showcase Pakistan's commitment, efforts and achievements in ICT development and digital transformation to the whole world. It provides a review of Pakistan's ICT development progress and maps out its way forward towards national digital transformation. It touches upon some of the key issues and areas in Pakistan's digital transformation, ranging from broadband structure to digital government. Just to highlight something, that according to PTA, in February 2021, telecom and ICT services have a nationwide spread covering over 89% of the population. Tele density has touched 87%, of which cellular mobile penetration comprises over 86%. Telecom revenues have touched the highest figure of rupees 644 billion compared to 592 billion, which is about 10% less in the previous year. And the sector has also attracted US $202 million in the shape of FDI. These initiatives will definitely help us in revealing true landscape of Pakistan. Example, mobile devices and networks are increasingly driving economic growth, connecting people and businesses. Here I would like to add one thing, and that is that in developing countries, more people are connected to mobile phones rather than laptops or desktop computers. So this is transforming the marketing systems also. And our businesses are responding from conventional marketing and advertising to connecting these people through social media and social media platforms. So we are trying to internalize the benefits of the increased digital connectivity and penetration, and we hope that we will have a wholesome growth, inclusive growth in which all the sectors of the society will benefit. Thank you.
Thank you. Actually, it's very exciting to see, both Nigeria and Pakistan, they all develop very ambitious goal to achieve this universal coverage. So now let me turn to Mr. Cao. And again, my question will be on the technological side. Right, so we all know, with your Rural Star project, we already have 60 million people in rural area involved in our digital society. We are very excited about that. We are even more excited to hear that Dr. Liang just announced that we are going to double that number to 120 million people. So the question I want to ask is how Huawei has prepared technologically, organizationally for this ambition.
As we know, today, more than 40% of the world population not connected. So Huawei never stop. We never stop innovation. We never stop innovation. Our target, our vision is connect all the connected. So you can say during the last NBBF in Bangkok last month, we launched our Rural Link, the new solutions. Compared with the Rural Star, we reduced the site just one RU and one antenna. I can see it's the simplest site in the industry. But simplest not means backward. In rural solutions, we also use our newest technology, such as single RAN. That means 2G, 4G, 3G, 5G can work together. And we also use our multi-antenna and wideband solutions. This can improve the user experience a lot. In addition, we not just focus on rural areas. We are extending our coverage solutions to geographic areas, such as sea, such as highway, and farmland. With our new solutions, our coverage can reach as far as 100 kilometers. So people living in such areas, such as sea and farmland and highway, can enjoy a very good experience mobile broadband, anywhere, anytime.
Thank you, Mr. Cao. After hearing that, my only comment is cool. Katie, you are up on screen now. So we have prepared for the future, right? We have policy determination, we have technological solution. So what else? This question will be a tough one. What else? What else do you think we need to fully liberate the power of connectivity?
Well, thank you for the question again. That's a lot of things. So because of the time, I'm going to share a number of fields that we have. So I think first of all, in a connected world, it is also mean a digital world with massive of data. Infrastructure needs to ensure scalability, agility, and resilience. We are actually finishing up the global connectiveness top 10 predictions. And I would like to share two here. One is for the short and medium term, and one for a longer term perspective. Although this prediction is actually about the entire worldwide market, but I have selected two I think is more applicable for the emerging market. So the first prediction we have is by 2023, which is next year, 40% of the enterprises will benefit from optimized operational efficiency, enhance security, and reduce network costs by leveraging SD-WAN and security for cloud-managed network and security. I want to echo to one of the panelists. He mentioned that in emerging market, it is more than PC, it's mobile phone. And in fact, I will extend it to more than mobile phone, in fact, more edge computing. That will including wearables, AR, VR, that we will see even more in emerging market than mature market, a shift of compute to the edge. IDC predicts that by 2023, which is next year as well, over half of the new enterprise IT infrastructure deployed will be at the edge rather than corporate data center. By 2024, the number of apps at the edge will increase 800%. This shift will drive innovation in new services, especially in latency-sensitive apps. I want to give two examples over here. Edge computing to support emerging services such as firefighting and police response, where drone can be utilized to obtain geo-reference footage and image, which can be sent to the controller and to the security force. This improves commands and control across the overall situation. Now in school, emerging market, it is very important to actually hire up the education. So in school where content delivery and AR/VR technology for students can be employed to make learning more fun and interactive. The latest infrastructure solutions not only relate to cloud, but are increasingly network connected and converge across multiple technologies like AI, blockchain, big data, with built-in security to provide integrated services. Now, this is the prediction for the short and mid-term perspective. Now, I want to give a longer-term perspective. By 2027, 80% of global 2,000 enterprises will require LEO satellites, so low Earth orbit satellites, to cover gaps in network coverage for remote, rural, and high-risk remote location. Low orbit satellite connectivity will offer mobile connectivity to billions of consumers in rural and remote locations, opening new business markets for mobile operator and commercial application. I hope these two predictions can help you.
Thank you, Katie. Actually, that's a very good summary for this section. We need a lot more effort in both short-term and long-term. We not only need policy support, technological solution. Actually, not only this 5G, 4G technology, we need solutions from AR, from cloud technology, etc. So we need more people coming in, joining hands with us to advance our goal, ambitious goal, connect the unconnected. All right, thank you guys. Let me borrow your hands again and give applaud to our panelists. Thank them for sharing their wisdom and their insights. Thank you. All right, so we would like to work, unstoppably because we are in Huawei, right? So I guess in the first part, we already learned a lot, how to achieve the first goal. We learned our past experience, our future plan for achieving universal connectivity. But we have to remind us, connectivity, full connectivity is not our goal, right? Our goal actually is getting everybody involved in our digital society, having people in remote rural area sharing our prosperity from digital economy. So really, our goal is we hope our digital economy, digital technology can have real social impact. That is why we have to turn our discussion to our second part, from connect to impact. All right, so I'm really thrilled to have 6 panelists joining our discussion for this part. They are Mr. Mustafa Jabbar from the Post and Telecommunication Division, Bangladesh. We also have Dr. Tia Van Deth from the Post of Telecommunication Department, Cambodia. And we have Mr. Sibeda, who is from the Tilama Primary School, South Africa. And we have Luis Neves, who is the Jesse CEO, served as the CEO for Jesse. And we have Afkar Shiat, who is the Senior Vice President of Global Governmental Affairs at Huawei. And lastly, we have Dr. Ganisifolo, who is an academician of German National Academy of Science and Engineering. I also have to mention that he has received the Friendship Award from our central government. Welcome. All right, so my first question I would like to address to Vandith from Cambodia. So we know that you are dealing with, you are leading your effort on digital government, right? So that's a very ambitious goal. Can you let us know how this will make a difference for rural population once it's achieved? Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Jin, for the questions. Good afternoon to you all. On behalf of the Royal Government of Cambodia and the Ministry of Posts and Telecommunications, I would like to express my sincere thanks to Huawei for organizing today's panel discussions on rural network coverage and digital service for rural populations. As the previous discussion has touched on, I believe that internet access has become a necessity for everyone, not just for those that can afford it. While both the public and private sectors have come together to address the digital divide, many are still left unconnected and underserved, prompting us to come up with cost-effective measures to tackle these issues in timely and inclusive manner. Please allow me to take you on Cambodia's journey toward achieving meaningful connectivity and sustainable digital transformation for our people. Last year, the government of Cambodia adopted the Cambodia Digital Economy and Society Policy Framework 2021-2035, aiming with a long-term vision to build a vibrant digital economy and society. This year, the Digital Government Policy 2022-2035 has also been adopted, and our priority involves building a digital nation from the foundation of digital government through strengthened cybersecurity and data centers, e-document and IDs, and online collaboration platform. Our digital development policy is at the final stage and will be ready for adoptions by early next year. Improving rural connectivity is one of the top priorities of the digital government policy. In this strategy, we set the target of having at least one BTS in one commune, and those communes would be also connected by optical fiber network. Hence, broadband infrastructure to this area will be expanded and QoS will improve. Meanwhile, digital service delivering to those in the rural areas would be tailored according to the real need of those communities. In addition, we plan to build community tech centers in all high schools across the country to serve our objective of transforming the rural population via various services such as the postal delivery, basic digital training, and access to other digital services provided by both the private sector and the government. With this policy and action plans, I believe that the digital divide will be greatly reduced, and we can achieve our objective of building a digital society as planned. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your insights on, how digital technology has transformed our governmental service, helping government better serve people in remote area. So now let's turn to our friends from South Africa. So who actually is Mr. Sabata is the principal of Telama Primary School. As you may know, 2 years ago, Huawei, working together with a non-profit organization called Click Foundation, and we work with the service provider in South Africa, kicked off a program called DG School Initiative. So, Mr. Spata, can you share with us, what it means to your school to be part of this initiative?
Thank you to Huawei and Click Learning. And as the question indicates, we are so happy that the initiative of the Digi School has made access to learning very possible using devices. And we appreciated that because if we look at it, we are talking about 1,460 learners in our school who are able to access learning through using those devices. The other impact that it has, this digital learning, this initiative, it has a positive impact on the school because we have seen the smile in the learners' face as they go to the computer center to learn using those different programs that were made possible by Click Learning, those different programs that helps them in different subjects like mathematics and English. Because we have seen that there was an improvement in the learners' reading because so many of our learners were shy to read. Because of the programs that they do in the computer lab, they are able to get certificates in a completion of those programs. So when they have that confidence, we allow them to go to the assembly and read to other learners, which is a positive impact that we have seen. And we also have seen that with this initiative that was brought by Huawei and its partner, Click Learning, that we have noticed an improvement in learner attendance because so many of our learners who are not having access to this internet, now they have this access at the school. It has increased the learner attendance that so many of our learners, or it has made our school to be so very popular because now it is one of the biggest schools around in the community. And most importantly, whatever they learn there in the computer center has made a positive impact on the teachers because they have seen some different style on how to teach certain concepts when they are in their classes because it has helped them with some ideas how they can go about in teaching those concepts when they are in their classes. Generally, what we have learned, it has given us a positive impact, this initiative, which we say we really, really appreciate. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sabanta. We have heard, from our previous two panelists, we have learned, how digital technology has had impact on governmental service, on education. So my next question will be directed to Mr. Shiat. I learned that our digital technology also transformed, financial service, financial activities. Can you share with us some of your insights on that aspect?
Thank you. Yes, with pleasure. And at Huawei, we are dedicated to building a fully connected, intelligent world for everyone, everywhere. And as you already heard, we are involved in different domains and sectors such as 5G, AI, cloud computing, and industry applications. such as agriculture and healthcare. And I am based and I live in China, Shenzhen, but I'm in Europe for a few weeks. And I've been visiting Austria last week, where I've seen a collaboration with a drone company which helps farmers in Austria monitor their crops and seek, the best way to water the plants. And that's just one of the examples on how industry applications with technology can create a better environment for farmers. But indeed, as you mentioned, we're also involved in fintech. Since quite a few years. And as we've heard from Mr. Sid Chatterjee, the resident coordinator of the UN, who formerly was based in Kenya, we've been involved with the Kenyan operators in a project called M-Pesa, and perhaps some of you have heard of that, but that is a success in Africa, where mobile platform of Huawei has been used by operators, serving more than 29 customers already. And a few weeks ago at AFRICOM, we announced our second phase of that mobile money platform called FinTech 2.0. And we want to help more people and businesses get better financial inclusion, and that is important because according to the GSMA, still 2 billion people across the world are unbanked and have no access to affordable financial services. And what we can offer with our fintech solution is a service that is super reliable. It's super fast, so it only takes 4 seconds per transaction. It's very secure, and it's an open ecosystem. So that is what we do and how we help to, together with our partners, to create economic and social impact.
Thank you, Afka. So now let me turn to our on-site panelists before you get bored, Mr. Dr. Ghani. So now we hear the impact on government service, financial service, as well as education. I understand you are one of the leading experts on smart manufacturing, right? Can you share with us your insight on what's the implication of connectivity, digital technology on smart manufacturing, especially in rural area? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for this question. I would like to compare smart manufacturing or a smart factory with our body. In our body, we have several organs. Each one has a function. We need all of them. Same in a smart factory. We have several machines, several units. Each has its own function, and each has its own interface, its own language. And all are connected through our nerves with our brain. So this is the cloud. This is our cloud in a smart environment, digital environment. All information from our organs are connected in our brain. In a smart factory, these are sensors. And our brain is coordinating everything and sending information to the organs. And it sends also the blood. Blood is the information. So, cloud, our brain, nerves, this is the internet, our organs are the equipment in the factory, and the blood is the information. So, wherever I go in the world, also in a rural area, my body can work with this harmony, with these units. And same applies for a smart manufacturing, smart factory. In a rural area, there must be a combination, clouds, information, and the connectivity. Then you can install also in a rural area a smart factory. And smart factories are important especially for developing countries. Every country, for being self-reliant, needs manufacturing. Otherwise, you depend on other countries. And the connectivity has another importance. Look around the world, what is happening now? We don't know what will happen tomorrow. We are living in a VUCA world. We call it VUCA. VUCA means volatile, unpredictable, complex, and ambiguous. So we don't know what will happen tomorrow, but a smart factory must be able to adapt itself to any condition, what could happen tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. Therefore, a connectivity with the environment, with the total world, is important so that our brain, the cloud, can absorb the situation, react, send information through internet, the blood, to the nerves, and the nerves to the organs. So our body can adapt to VUCA situation and also a smart factory, wherever it is. But for developing countries, it's advisable to put the smart factories in rural areas to start from zero. The smart factory would be able to cope with any situation, any global change we can experience. So this is the importance of connectivity. This will dominate, connectivity will dominate the development of countries in the world.
Thank you, Dr. Gandhi. Actually, this is a very good elaboration how connectivity will have an impact on our manufacturing. We do need digital technology to deal with the challenges in the VUCA age, VUCA era. Thank you. So our panelists have shared their insights on how digital technology, digital involvement have achieved social impact in the right now and today, right? So now, again, just like what we have in the last panel, we would look into the future and think about the challenges in the future. We are going to achieve a broader social impact, a broad social benefit. So now I would address this question to Afka. So I understand globally, we still have a lot of barriers for, fully achieve the benefit, the social impact of connectivity. Can you share with us your insight? What are the key challenges in this process? Thank you.
Yes, thank you for that. Yes, as you said, we are still doing, quite good when it comes to closing the coverage gap, but we have a new challenge, and that is to close the usage gap, and we're still far away from that. So, still we have a lot of people now enjoying the benefits of connectivity and we have already, made sure that from 2.2 billion people in 2015 till only 400 million people right now in 2022. So that is, how the coverage gap has been shrinked. But we still have this usage gap. So people do have connectivity, but they have challenges to reap the benefits of it because there's a lack on mostly skills, knowledge, affordability, relevant content, and other factors. So that is still a big challenge that all of us need to tackle. That is the industry, that is international organizations like the ITU, but also government. We really need to remove the barriers to make sure that we remove this gap as well.
Thank you. So speaking of the barriers, challenges, one of the things actually is we all know our ITC network consume a lot of electricity. It might be a huge problem for today's society because right now global warming become a huge concern. So now I want to turn this question to Mr. Jabbar from Bangladesh. Because we know that Bangladesh has published the Vision 2041 and is making great efforts to drive green ITC network. Can you share with us your insights and your experience on that?
Thank you very much. I was listening to the discussion from our valued participants. You know that Bangladesh is an agri-based country. We became independent just 51 years back, and we entered into the telecom era in 1973, whereas we have entered into the 2G network system of mobile phone in 1997. We entered the 3G phase in 2013. We entered in 4G phase in 2018, and in 2021, we entered into 5G arena. So basically, it was a big challenge for a country like Bangladesh to connect the whole population, because it's not a plain land. It has highlands, it has lowlands, it has water bodies and all other things. Also a densely populated country. We now in a situation that the 98% of the country is covered by 4G network. We are working on 5G, and the major aim of this government is to connect the unconnected people, particularly the rural people. Perhaps you are aware of the situation that Bangladesh announced Digital Bangladesh program in 2018, which has just passed the target year 2021 last year, and now we are moving ahead with a vision for 2041. We call it a Smart Bangladesh. The major objectives of the telecommunication industry is to connect the whole population of the country. And we understand that connectivity is the key to every success, whether you call it an education affair, whether you call it an industrial affair or lifestyle. Particularly, we have seen the importance of telecom network during the COVID period from 2020 to 2022. At this time, people has used the telecom network for everything. In fact, from shopping to livelihood, everything was depending on the telecom network. And I thank our telecom operators, also the providers of technology behind the telecom operators, who has helped us to come to at this stage. And I feel that these circumstances will be definitely a new direction which will lead our country to the 5th industrial revolution with 5G technologies. We fully believe that 5G is definitely going to change the whole world, particularly for a country like Bangladesh, where we are hoping that the whole population will be fully connected in a very high speed, and the future of the country depends on the technology we will be using. We have already tested 5G in 2018, and we have commercially launched 5G in 2021. We hope 5G is going to be the real path of future, and the whole civilization is moving towards that direction.
Thank you, Mr. Jabbar. And my next question will be directed to Mr. Wandeth from Cambodia. I still want to push forward my question. You know, that's really what's the barriers. So in addition to network connection, what are the other factors that would be very crucial for us to really achieve a social impact, a social benefit, to change the life of rural population?
Thank you for the questions. Why COVID-19 has taught us the importance of the connectivity, particularly during the lockdown and travel restrictions. This pandemic has exposed some of the society weakness in withstanding the negative impacts. Prominent challenges including urban-rural divide, digital literacies, and limited connectivity. In response to this unprecedented time and challenges, the Cambodian government, like many other governments, have adopted several key national policies and strategies to promote connectivity, quality of service, and tech adoptions. Connectivity alone is not enough to help the rural populations. Other factors, including content and service development, should be taken into considerations. Service and content should be provided based on socio-economic conditions and the development that those communities need. Assessment and feasibility study are required to analyze the needs of each community in the rural areas. For instance, the fishery community might need weather, market, shipping, and demand information concerning their fishery products. This type of information must be provided on time so that they can adjust their productions effectively. We also will need to help them gain access to the latest best practice as well as provide loan and banking access. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My next question will go back to Mr. Jabbar, because you, in your previous comment, you actually lay out the picture, the big picture for our digital connectivity in your country. So it seemed like you already passed the stage, or you already achieved a lot in the stage of connect the unconnected. Can you share with us your insights, your plan to move the country to the stage from connect to impact?
Thank you again. In fact, I have given a very short brief about the development of telecommunication industry in Bangladesh. For us, this is definitely a very big challenge because we were an undeveloped country, and we feel that the technologies which are coming up with the telecom industries, particularly we can simply mention few of them, like robotics, artificial intelligence, IoT, big data, and this kind of technologies has to reach the rural people. And we also are looking for something which is very important, that the energy consumption of the telecom industries and the devices should be very low. We are also looking at that the whole industry becomes green friendly, and with the help of the green technologies, probably our future will be shaping in a different direction. We feel that Bangladesh has come to a very positive situation now and is targeting a very bright future for the whole nation. One of the best thing I can mention that the efforts of our telecom operators and the technology providers is helping the whole nation, that we can really move to the fifth industrial revolution, and that will be definitely a very good time for us. Let's hope that the whole world move in a positive direction with the help of the telecom industry.
Thank you, Mr. Jabbar. We are actually very happy to hear that, hear the progress in your country, hear the stories about how digital technology have changed the society and how the technology will change the society for better in the future. Thank you. So now let me turn our on-site guest again, Dr. Gani. I know you are from Germany. Can you share with us, what experience can we learn from the developed countries, developed society, to help small business, particularly those in rural, remote area, to utilize digital technology to transfer their society, their manufacturing industry?
So I have to mention that 85% of German companies are small and middle-sized companies. But these are the pillars of German economy. These are very flexible, agile, private-owned companies who are very innovative. And the success stories in Germany is based on a top-down and bottom-up strategy of German government. Top-down means for a new strategy, for example, we use Industry 4.0 as an important and famous term, yeah? Digitalization. Headline in Germany for this is Industry 4.0. My academy, German Academy for Science and Engineering, made a proposal to German government, this is our job, for setting up a strategical program for implementing Industry 4.0, especially for small and middle-sized companies, because they cannot afford to finance everything. Not like big companies, Siemens or Bosch. So German government started a fund for small and middle-sized companies, how to implement Industry 4.0. And this, we call it Central Innovation Program for Middle-Sized Companies. And I would like to deliver some figures to you. From 2015 to 2019, in 5 years, 2,800 individual company projects were financed by German government. And from 2020, in 3 years, already 1,200 projects. So more than half of the previous 5 years. And German government sticks more to cluster support, not individual companies, but clusters. German government says, get together, make a cluster, and we support this. And the support is 10 times, not 10 times, sorry, but 12,000 projects were financed in 5 years, and last 2 years, already 6,000. So German government supports very strongly innovation programs, and the amount which was funded for the first 5 years, it was 2.7 billion euro. And for the 2 years or 3 years, from 2020 on, it is 1.6 billion euro. So more than half of the previous 5 years. But it's somehow the gene of Germans, not so much digital, first machinery, smart factory. 25% of these funds was granted for production technologies. Yeah, so totally different strategy than in China. Second was electrotechnics, sensorics. So for smart factory, you need sensors like our organs. And third was material science. And fourth was information and communication technologies. And the share was 10% of total amount. So this is top-down strategy from central government. The local governments, province governments, have also their own strategies, and they install so-called innovation consultancy agencies. every area, companies there, small and middle-sized companies, can become members. They have to pay some membership fee, and then they can benefit from the experts of these agencies, how they could implement digital solutions and innovative technologies. Now, I tell you something, it's not a joke. Some small companies think Industry 4.0 is some toolbox you can buy somewhere in a shop, yeah? So for this, some reliable consultancy is needed. And the bottom-up strategy, we have so-called learning factories. Learning factories. People who are already in business life, they have to skill up for coping with the challenges of future, for coping with connectivity, with smart factories, but also management people, middle management, even top management people have to switch the brain, have to learn what is future, what is important, and how does a smart factory work? Not what they learned 20 years ago or before or 30 years before. For this, German government supports the idea of learning factories, which will be created by universities. In a scientific way, universities set up laboratories, but which are like a running factory. They produce something, even they are donated by famous companies, big companies, and there some components for these companies will be produced. So the products will be used, but just for learning, for people in business life, every level, so skilling up. This is the strategy of German government.
All right, thank you, Dr. Gandhi. So now let me turn the microphone to Luis Neves, who is the CEO from Jesse. Actually, this is my favorite question, Luis, because I'm a professor working on sustainability. So a couple of days ago, I saw an interview on the Transform magazine. You talk about how digital technology can contribute to our effort in reducing carbon emission, combat global warming. So those, social equity and environmental protection, climate change is two of the most important issues on our sustainability agenda. Can you share with us your wisdom on, the connection, the relationship between those two?
First of all, thank you so much for the invitation. It's a great question. To my regret, digital technologies have not been so far part of the global conversation in the climate discussions. Recently, the COP27 just finished in Egypt, and we do not hear anyone to talk about digital and how digital can help to combat climate change. In spite of many research that we have done in the Global Sustainability Initiative, the organization that I'm leading, since 2007 that we have been looking at the impact of digital technologies in climate. We've done many research with the biggest world consultancies, McKinsey, Boston, Accenture Strategy, Deloitte, in the last 15 years. And all the research that we have done points to an increasing impact of digital in reducing carbon emissions globally. So just to give you an example, in 2007, when we did the first report with McKinsey, the enabling impact of digital technologies in global warming was 5.5 times bigger than our own footprint. When we did the same report in 2015, the Smart 2030 report, the report came to the conclusion that digital technologies can reduce 20% of the global emissions, and they can generate a business value equivalent to the GDP of China per year. So I do not understand why, in the context of the biggest summit that takes place in the world, and this year it was the number 27, we do not speak about the solution. We do not speak how digital technologies can respond to climate change. The conversation is always about the polluting industries, is about oil, is about all those cement and so on. But instead of talking about the problem, we need to move and talk about the solution. And so therefore, I think that we have today enough evidence that digital technologies are fundamental to address climate change. We need to start the conversation, how can we better implement digital across every single sector? In our reports, what we have seen is that digital technologies, they can help to reduce emissions in manufacturing, in the power sector, in mobility, and in many other industries, you name it. So we need really to move the agenda forward. I saw that we have in this panel, in this conference today, many policymakers. My message to them is that think about how digital can be important to help you to achieve your MDCs. We have done recently a report with GIZ, the German Development Agency, who asked us to evaluate the impact of digital technologies in 10 different developing countries. And the conclusion was that we could help all those countries in average to reduce 10% of their own emissions through the implementation of digital technologies. So my message is going in this direction.
Thank you, Luis. I understand we are tight on time, but I do want to touch upon the last point on my question. So, Mr. Sibata, can you very quickly, like using 1 minute to share us, what the organizational issue, what are the organizations you have to work with to make DG School possible, and what's the collaboration model there?
Firstly, I would like to thank you for the question. We have number one, the Huawei, that provides us with devices, and almost all learners are able to work in their devices, tablets, and the headphones. And also we have Click Learning that provides us with programs that learners interact with as they work there. And Click Foundation has made it possible for our youth, unemployed youth, to get job opportunities because they work there as facilitators, sharing their skills with learners. Of course, we're supposed to have internet, and RAIN is providing us with internet or data. And this, sometimes we have load shedding, and there's a company we are in partnership with. It's Agrico. It has donated a generator that in case of load shedding, then we are able to learn, or learning continues. And we have insurances for these devices. We have another company which is called Memeza to respond if there is burglary. So these partnerships, we work in together, but most importantly, what they do is to make sure that when learning takes place there, results are improved. Because if I can share quickly, the last 5 years results, they were moving from 87%, 84, 91, 93 to 95%, which is an improvement to the to learners' performance. And it is possible because of this initiative of DG School or connectivity. Thank you.
Thank you. So I would like to address the same question to Luis, because we know Jesse is working with WEF based on the PPP model, right, to advance digital inclusive. So can you give us your recommendation how to work with other organizations, work on a PPT collaboration?
Sorry, I was on mute. So we have been working in terms of with WEF, in terms of putting together public-private partnerships. We think that the public-private partnerships are accepted as means of advancing digital trade. They must be used in areas where they have previously been harder to come by. The world is facing a huge digital divide. We have now 2.9 billion people that without access to internet, which is around 40% of the total world population. And it's important that the digital divide is overcome by bringing the public and the private sectors together to deploy connectivity, which is the fundamental and the underlying infrastructure necessary to ensure an inclusive society. Therefore, connected and connected should be the focus both of the public and private sectors. The public sector alone cannot and is not able to address the challenge that we are facing, and therefore it's important that the public sector, the private sector joins with the public sector really to move the agenda and to put in place the necessary infrastructure, the necessary means to really fulfill the commitment of connecting everybody, to give access to everybody in the world. We need to reduce inequality. We know that that is not being done. There are already many tools in the market that can help that. We know that digital technologies can improve digital literacy for excluded groups, can increase access to information and connecting people. They provide digitally enabled opportunities for social participation, for political participation, for economic participation. But it's important that really the private and the public sector understand that they need to come together, they need to join forces, and for that, Jesse is working with WEF and with other organizations, regional financial institutions, the United Nations, to address these challenges that the planet is facing. And we hope that we can start this year with 2 project pilots. We're thinking about one pilot project in Asia, another one in Africa, and it is our ambition really to show how the PPP, the public-private partnership, really can help to move those countries in the right direction so they can give better opportunities to the population that is living in those countries.
Thank you very much. So we have a very lovely discussion here. We learned that the digital connectivity, digital society, digital technology has brought a lot of benefit, social impact on our society. We talk about government services, we talk about education, smart manufacturing, etc. Actually, we have to conclude our discussion here. I want to follow up on Louis' point. We want to advance our digital society, connect the connected, and from connected to impact. This is not only a technological issue, actually it's a social issue. The only answer to this challenge is companies like Huawei and non-profit organizations like your organization, government, and the general society, we have to work together. We have to work together, taking action now. So yes, so let's end our discussion here. Let me borrow your hands again to thank our prestigious panelists. Thank you guys for your participation. I also would like to thank all the on-site and online participants. Thank you very much. So with that, I would love to pass the microphone to our handsome host, Kevin.
I don't know. I'm okay. Well, thank you too, Professor Yin, as well, and thanks again to all the contributors for that. As you say, really interesting discussions that go to the heart of both the challenges and the opportunities that connectivity presents to us. And again, I think echoes perhaps of that line, the closing line from our opening video, this is just the beginning. Talking of videos, let's have another one. We're going to have a media question and answer session in a moment, but first, let's watch Stay Connected.
Stay connected. Stay together. In the year 2000, many people in remote areas of the world had no internet connection, no mobile telephone. We commit ourselves to bridging the digital divide, connecting the most remote areas. In Africa, with Rural Star Solution, installing just a wooden pole gives local people access to the internet. In Fujian Province, China, Huawei's 5G solution connects islands to land and connects fishermen at sea with their families on shore, ensuring that their safety concerns are met. Connecting the toughest environments. In the cold Aurora village, AirPond Solution sends warmth to distant places for people in wooden houses. In Sichuan Province, China, Huawei's E-band microwave allows cliff villages to have internet access, connecting a rich digital life. In Southeast Asia, one container opens up new possibilities in education. In Thailand, Huawei Cloud AI tests durian ripeness to help the fruit reach the world. In Guangxi Province, China, the FTTR for SME solution has enabled local farmers to sell agricultural products in the mountains, increasing farmers' income. By 2025, Huawei's ICT solution will provide the ability to connect to the digital society in more than 80 countries and 120 million people in remote areas around the world.
Pretty much the encapsulation there of innovation for impact. At this point, we've got about 45 minutes left and an opportunity, as I said, to take some questions from the media. Can I just go through some familiar Q&A etiquette first? For those of you here in the room, if you want to ask a question, can you just raise your hand and then wait for the microphone to reach you so that everyone online can hear your question? For those joining online, can you also follow the similar rules of raising your hand, a digital hand in your case, of course, in time-honored COVID fashion? And please give us time to spot that so that we can invite you to unmute yourself. Wherever you are, for the benefit of everyone else, can you make sure you give your name and your organization before you ask your question, just for simple context? And finally, sorry for the number of rules, one question per journalist, please, so that we can get through as many questions as possible in the time available. Our interpreter, Liu Rei, will translate and repeat the questions and offer translations for the answers too. So can I invite Liu Rei and Dr. Liang Hua and Mr. Sao Ming back to the stage to take those questions. Just because we've got a lot of people online with us today, let's take a question first from those joining us. So we'll start with people with their hands up already. They're quick off the mark. We'll start with, well, I can see someone with a camera, or two people with cameras on. We'll start with Reuters and David Curtin.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can, yeah. Thanks, David.
Great. Hi. Yeah, thanks for taking the question. I wanted to ask, along with the commitment to connectivity, Huawei's been pushing into new business areas, energy, ports, the car business. With connectivity, how does all of this fit into an overall strategy for reshaping the company? And how would you characterize the type of company Huawei is now compared to, say, 2018 before the sanctions? And with that, how close is Huawei to overcoming the chip issues that affected its handset business? Thanks.
第一个问题是来自于路透社的 David。我这个问题呢是和刚刚讲到的这个 P2C 的承诺以及华为的新业务相关。那我们都知道，华为开展了一些新的一个业务，包括能源、港口以及汽车。那么想了解一下，就是这些刚刚演讲当中提到的连接，它与华为整体的这个战略和业务的调整是有什么样的关系？是怎么样契合到整体的战略当中？以及想请问一下，这个对于现在的华为对比起2018年之前的华为未经历制裁的华为，现在的华为您会如何描述？那么想请问，华为在这个芯片供应方面的一个进展，因为芯片供应影响了这个华为的手机业务，现在距离克服这个芯片问题还有多久
我想今天我们讲的泛在连接践行技术普惠，因为这个跟我们公司的愿景和战略是一致的。就华为公司的愿景就是致力于把数字世界带入到每个人、每个家庭、每个组织，构建万物互联的智能世界。就应该说，那我们促进广泛的连接，通过技术创新来满足人们的连接需求，丰富人们的沟通和生活，一直就是我们的华为公司的这个战略。
Today the theme is Connectivity Plus Innovate for Impact, and that has been well aligned with our strategy and vision. Our vision and mission is to bring digital technologies to every person, home, and organization for a fully connected, intelligent world. And what we're trying to do here is to contribute to broader connectivity. We would like to apply innovative technologies to the solutions so that we can satisfy people's needs for connectivity, for communication, and we can help enrich people's lives. That's always been an integral part of our strategy.
那么我们华为公司，就是刚才你说华为公司，我们现在有6大业务，一个是 ICT 基础设施一个是终端业务也包括我们的数字能源、华为云上海海思，以及我们的这种智能汽车部件业务。那这几大业务里面，在我们的在未来，其实我们都是根据华为公司的核心能力为我们的客户提供产品、解决方案和服务。
Huawei now has 6 major businesses, including ICT infrastructure, the device business, digital power, Huawei Cloud, Shanghai High Silicon, and the car business, the IAS. As what we're doing now, in the future, we'll continue to provide products, solutions, and services to our customers by leveraging our core capabilities.
那我们这些业务都是为未来的万物连接的智能社会提供的产品和服务，但是我认为连接是基础，特别促进广泛的连接，是让更多的人能够在数字经济时代能享受带来的便利和福祉。
All of these businesses and the efforts that we're making in those businesses aim to achieve the all things connected, intelligent world. But among all those businesses, the connectivity is the foundation, especially the broader connectivity. And we hope that through our efforts, we can help more people access the digital services so that they can actually benefit from the development of digital technologies.
那么，关于华为公司为我们客户提供的产品、解决方案和服务，我想在经过这几年华为的一直攻关。那我们能够为客户提供这些产品和服务，应该说我们持续的来解决我们的供应问题，为我们的客户提供这个产品解决方案和服务。
Over the past few years, we have made arduous efforts in working out the problems with our products, solutions, and services, and that is the reason why we have been able to continue the supplies of our products and services to the customers, and we'll continue to work on the supply issue so that in the future we can continue to provide products and services to our customers.
那么除此之外，因为华为我们在全球运营。所以说我们在每个地方，我们还会履行我们的社会责任。就像今天我们跟加入 ITU 的 Partner to Connect 这个计划一样，我们在整个泛在连接、践行技术普惠上面来履行我们的社会责任。
As a company operating globally, we take CSR, corporate social responsibility, very seriously, and we make our commitments to CSR. And that is part of the reasons why we joined the ITU Partner to Connect program. And it's part of the efforts to broaden the connectivity. And that is one of the ways of delivering our corporate social responsibility as a company operating worldwide.
Thank you. We've taken a question from online. Should we take a question from here in the room in Shenzhen? Does anyone have a question here? The lady here, yes, in the second row.
谢谢，我是深圳晚报的记者冯敏。我想提问一下曹明总，那么华为呢，作为产业的领导者之一，能否从整个移动产业的角度来看，连接未连接还需要解决哪些挑战呢？以及需要产业界上下游做哪些事情？谢谢。
I'm a reporter from Shenzhen Evening News, and is a question addressed to Mr. Cao Ming. Huawei, as one of the industry leaders, what would be your view of the remaining challenges that you have to address in order to connect the unconnected as a part of the efforts in the mobile network rollouts? And what do you think is the collaboration needed between the upstream and downstream players across the value chain?
我们说，移动通信产业是一个高度端管云协同的一个产业，就是除开我们经常谈到的网络基础设施之外，其实它两端的东西，像这个终端有丰富的终端和有丰富的内容，对整个移动通信产业的良性发展是至关重要的。
If we look at the mobile industry, it's actually one that calls for collaboration and coordination between the devices, the connectivity, the infrastructure, and the cloud. So infrastructure is only part of the three different elements. We also have to look at the important roles that devices and content play in the mobile industry. And rich content as well as a diverse lineup of devices are very crucial to the development of the mobile industry.
就是我们发现，在海外很多 EM 市场，即使有了网络，但是呢，终端用户使用网络的这个情况并不普遍。我们发现很重要的一个原因就是终端的缺乏。终端的缺乏，一方面是可获得的终端偏少，另一方面即有了终端，由于价格偏高，买不起。
We have some observations of the emerging markets. We have noted that despite of the rollouts of the network infrastructure, the take-up or the adoption rate among the users in the EM markets are still not desirable. And part of the reason is because of the shortage of the devices, the absolute availability of the devices. But there's also another reason, that is the price of the devices. Some of the prices are a bit higher than the affordability of the users.
对，我们都知道4G 的体验是3G 的10倍，但是我们很惊奇的发现，像在南非，就因为3G 的终端和4G 的终端差了$8，就导致绝大多数的用户选择的还是3G 终端，而不去买体验更好的4G 终端。
We know that the 4G devices can offer 10 times better experience than the 3G devices. However, the observation that we have got from South Africa is that the local users would rather purchase 3G phones than 4G phones because the 3G phones are $8 cheaper than the 4G ones.
因此，我们也倡议各个国家给予终端的低价终端的这个引入，给予更多的便利，包括 降低终端的这个关税，包括提供更多的有利于低价终端进入本国的渠道。
And that is why we are now calling for more favorable policies for the affordable devices, including tax credit as well as more diverse channels for the transaction of affordable devices in the market.
另一方面，我们也是希望政府致力于在本国发展更多的丰富的数据业务。 包括移动支付，包括视频，包括在线的游戏等等。
At the same time, we also hope that the governments could encourage the development of diverse data services in the local markets, including the payment services, games, and such.
第3方面，就是我们也希望各个国家、各个政府能够出台更有利于农村普遍覆盖的政策。 和给予更多的这个资源。
Thirdly, more policy support and also resources allocation are expected from the governments in order to promote the development of rural networks and increase rural coverage.
包括低价发放更多的频谱，制定明确的普遍覆盖逐年提升的计划，这样有利于整个农村的普遍覆盖能够得到快速的良性的发展。
And such policies will include those in favor of lower costs of spectrum allocation and also more priority given to wider coverage in the rural areas. Such favorable policies would encourage the development of rural network development.
Thank you. Let's go back online then. I saw there were lots of hands up previously. We will go to, I think we showed lots of videos from Indonesia earlier, and I think we've got quite a lot of journalists in Indonesia. Should we take a question from Indonesia, please?
Hi, greetings from Indonesia. I'm Dea from Antara News. My question is, Indonesia's communication infrastructure construction has brought remarkable changes to the country, which also depends on Huawei's innovation in technology. My question is, with such foundation, what direction should a country take in a digital transformation in the future to make connectivity has a certain quality? Thank you.
这是一个来自印尼的问题。印尼现在通信基础设施有了长足的发展，那这部分也得益于华为的技术创新。所以这个问题就是，您认为，印尼未来在这个数字转型方面应该朝什么样的方向去发展？这样的话才可以让连接变得更加有质量。
那正如刚才所说，因为印尼经过这几年的不管是无线网络。包括通过微波或其他，因为印尼是万岛之国嘛，那么在这样复杂的环境下建立的这种通讯网呢，不管是通过移动通讯网络和家庭宽带网络，那么在这个基础上面建立好这个连接之后，应该说我们怎么来促进数字经济的发展？
As we have pointed out, the connectivity infrastructure in Indonesia has been well established. We know that Indonesia is a country with tens of thousands of islands, so you have deployed mobile broadband networks and also home broadband networks to cover the country. And that would be the first step, laying down the connectivity infrastructure. So the next step, indeed, is to think about what other things that the country should do to promote digital transformation.
不管从全球来看，从印尼来看，那么数字经济的发展，将来的影响面、发展的深度将会非常广。那么另外，数字经济和实际经济的融合发展通过数字经济把一些数字经济技术5G 人工智能云计算，那么把这些技术融合起来，和一些工业企业、农业和等一些产业结合起来，来促进这些产业的数字化发展。
Whether it's in Indonesia or around the world, we can expect far-reaching impact coming from the development of digital economies. And it's very essential to better integrate the digital economy and the real economy. And in order to promote further development in the digital economy, it will have to rely on a better convergence between the different technologies, including 5G, artificial intelligence, cloud, and such. With better convergence of these technologies and applying them to the different vertical industries like the agriculture and the various businesses in the verticals, we will see greater developments in that digitization.
那么另外一个方面就是说，我们通过这些广泛的连接之后，那么结合这个云技术、人工智能技术和新的一些其他技术以后。 怎么来促进数字教育、智慧医疗，包括智慧医疗来实现这种远程医疗、数字政府？我想这些东西应该会很好的促进印尼在教育方面的一些发展，包括我们在一些医疗因为很多人可能住得比较远，那么怎么来把这些好的医疗通过这样的一些远程的高速的连接？ 大快单的连接来提供这种远程的医疗服务，让更多的人能够享受好这样的一些医疗资源。
In addition to broader connectivity and the application of technology such as cloud, artificial intelligence, and others. It's also essential to deploy digital education, smart healthcare, including those that leverage technologies to enable remote consultation, as well as e-government services. All of these will be important areas for Indonesia to consider. And speaking of remote healthcare, it is very important to people living in remote areas, because if such solutions are put into place, they're able to get access to better healthcare resources by relying on the high-speed connectivity, and that will be one important area for the government to think about.
那么第三个方面，我想比较重要的就是说数字人才这样的发展，通过这种我们这些教育，包括这个技术学院等各个方式我们让更多的人才具有这种数字技能和数字的素养，那么在这种数字经济时代和智能化的时代，能够更好的能够享受到这种数字带来的便利，同时也运用数字技能来进行一些工作，促进经济的发展，包括社会福利的改善。
Thirdly, I would like to point to one other important area, that is the development of digital talent. This is a very important field. We can help promote digital talent through more education and also through the training that we can provide through the technology academies. And through these efforts, we hope to increase the number of digital talent. We also hope to increase the level of digital literacy among the general public. And this can help the people better fit into the digital economy and the future all things intelligent world. It's essential for everyone to benefit from the development of the digital economy, while at the same time it's also important for them to be equipped with the right set of digital skills so that they can find proper jobs and they can contribute back to the economy and contribute to the welfare of the people.
Thank you. There were a number of questions here. Let's take a couple more from online. Should we go to... We've just had a question from Asia. We'll take one from Africa. Zambezi News. Oh, can we hear?
Hello, my name is Jafet Mube from Johannesburg. My question is to you, Dr. Liang Hua. It's a two-part question. The first one, I would like some more details and background on the partner to connect partnership. And then the second part of the question is, we all know that in Africa there's too many people that are not connected. There's the urban-rural divide, there's also the poor and the rich divide, and we have a very young population. What are Huawei's plans and strategies to bridge that digital divide? Thank you.
下面是一个来自于非洲的问题，然后约堡记者提问，这个问题是请问梁博的，分两部分，第一部分是能否请您介绍一下这个P2C 相关的这个背景或者是更详细的内容，第二部分是与非洲的具体情况相结合，在非洲的话仍然还是有非常多的人没有连上网。那么也存在这个城乡之间的不平等以及贫富差距的问题，那么也有大量的年轻人的这个人群，在这些问题这些方面，华为有什么样的计划或者战略？
那么我们这一次 ITU 的这个它这个to connection 这个计划面向全球，那但是在这个过程当中，我们看到其实这个计划跟华为我们一直的一些战略也是相匹配的。
The partner to connect pledge we have made to ITU is actually a global pledge, and this is well aligned with Huawei's strategy all along.
那么华为是一家商业企业，那我们通过技术创新和满足客户需求这样的双能驱动来驱动公司发展。那我们提供我们的产品解决方案包括跟客户提供优质的服务来服务客户。通过这样来实现我们的商业价值， 同时我们在全球化运营的话，那我们也会履行我们的社会责任。所以说，在促进这种广泛的连接方面，那我们过去也做了很多。那么正好这一次，我们也跟ITU 的这个 P2C 这个计划结合起来，我们能够做更多的事情。就是说，我们刚才在这个演讲中我也提到了，我说我们就说在未来，那我们能够在2025年之前，我们比如说在80多个国家1.2亿偏远地区结构，我们来提供这样的一些连接，同时也找了一些国家，我们也要开始试点。
Huawei as a business organization apply two drivers when we think about our business, when we design our business. And the two drivers are respectively technology innovation and also the engineering innovation we have been doing to satisfy the customer's requirements. And we provide good quality, we provide high quality products and services as well as solutions to the customers in order to create business value for ourselves, because we operate as a business organization, while at the same time we attach great importance to our delivery of corporate social responsibility around the world. We have been making a lot of efforts in delivering more and broader connectivity around the world. Now we think that we can do more, especially through joining the ITU P2C pledge. In my talk, actually, I specify the specific pledge we made to the ITU is about by 2025, we're committing ourselves to providing ICT solutions to 120 million people in rural areas across 80 countries. And in addition to that, we'll also select some countries and start doing pilots.
那么就关于第二个问题，就是华为在非洲，其实我们一直致力于在非洲的网络基础设施建设方面。来做出我们的贡献。应该说，在过去20多年里面，我们和本地的运营商一起，应该说建设了比较多的一些网络，也包括一些比较好的网络，不管是无线网络还是光纤的这些网络，通过这样来提供这样的一些泛在的连接。
We have been committed to providing connectivity infrastructure in Africa as well. This can be testified by our efforts over the past 20 years through our cooperation with local telecom operators. We have worked with the local operators to roll out a number of networks, including the very excellent wireless ones and also the fiber projects. And these are the efforts that we have made to provide ubiquitous connectivity.
那么今天在这个视频里面或者演讲里面，大家说了比较多的Rural-Star这个解决方案。其实我们就是在非洲孵化起来的，因为我们在我们公司，我们有专门负责 EM 市场的这样的一个组织。那我们当时无线产品线，他们派了一个产品规划团队就是在非洲当时在非洲就看到有这样的一些需求，农村一些边远地区有这种连接的需求，但是要去建一个铁塔或者建一个基站，那就需要比较高的投入。那后来说，那怎么来解决这个问题？那当时说，我们通过一个简单的一个杆儿，通过 relay 的技术，我们就可以把 Rural-Star 这个解决方案做完了，覆盖当地几个社区，比如说1-2000人或者更少我们就可以用这个方案。其实我们 Rural-Star 这个解决方案，就是在非洲这种需求来了以后，通过我们的技术创新以及产品开发来提供了这样 Rural-Star。在非洲应用成功之后，在非洲现在应该有10多个国家吧已经应用了这个解决方案，并且我们也推向了全球。
From the video that we have shown and also the talk that you have listened to, you might heard one word multiple times, that is Rural-Star, the solution. Actually, we first came up with the idea of Rural-Star in Africa. In Huawei, we have a dedicated organization looking at the emerging markets. And back then, Wireless Product Line sent a team, is a team of product planning staff to Africa. And in Africa, they noticed that the local remote communities had great needs for connectivity. However, if they went for the solution of using the towers or rolling out base stations, it would be very costly. Then what would be the alternative? And they came up with a very simplified solution, just to leverage the poles, and then they apply the relay technology, and that's how they came up with the rural star solutions. And this solution was a good fit for a community of 1,000 to 2,000 people or fewer, and it could actually work. And that was the process of coming up with a rural star, from identifying the needs in Africa to product innovation to product development. And we have achieved quite a success in Africa by rolling out a rural star, because a dozen countries in Africa have already applied this solution, and now we have started to expand the solution worldwide.
那另外，我认为就说数字人才应该是非洲数字经济发展的一个关键。那么，华为将持续为非洲的数字人才发展来做出我们的贡献。我们通过 Tech for All 这个项目数字化包容为学生、青年人才，也包括妇女或者整个广泛的非洲人员提供这种数字技能包括我们跟一些学校合作为学生来提供这些数字化的一些教育，让他们在从小就具备这方面的技能。
Digital talent is a very key aspect for Africa as well. Huawei has made a continuous contribution in this regard, and part of the efforts are the Tech for All program and also our digital inclusion initiative. And this aims to improve the digital skills of students and youth and Africans at large. We're also collaborating with schools and institutions to help deliver digital courses to the students, so that at a very young age they start to have exposure to digital technologies through the digital courses.
Thank you. There's still four more hands here. We will take Al-Iqtisad, Wal Amal.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Iyad Birani. I'm an economic journalist specialized in IT and telecom for Al-Iqtisad Wal Amal magazine, which is a pan-Arab magazine covering North Africa and the Middle East. It's an Arabic magazine. My question is, today's event is around connect the unconnected, and from connect to impact. And this is a very important subject for the Middle East and North Africa. What Huawei think about the next development trend of ubiquitous connectivity while proceeding to connectivity in rural areas? And what are the new opportunities coming with it for the Middle East? My question is for Dr. Liang. Thank you very much.
这是来自于这个Iqtisad 杂志的记者，这个杂志呢是面向北非和中东的。那么这个问题就是，我们今天的主题讲的是连接未连接，以及我们连接要有更大的这个影响力、更高的质量。那么具体在中东和北非这个区域来说，请问华为认为下一个阶段连接的这个新的趋势是什么？在这个偏远地区连接方面，下一步是有什么样的发展？那以及在这个中东北非的这个地区新的机会又是什么？现在这个中东在承办这个世界杯哈。
那么我觉得未来整个连接的趋势，那肯定是还继续是高速、大带宽、低时延这个广连接这围绕这些东西来办。我们说从4G、5G 包括我们现在说的5.5G 的发展我们就还要提供更高速的这种更高速、更大的带宽低的时延广的连接让人们在这里面可以实现更广泛的享受更广泛的这些连接的带来的便利。
Well, the trends for connectivity remains faster speeds, wider bandwidth, lower latency, and more connections. These are the trends that we have seen continuously from 4G to 5G and also to the 5.5G that we are currently talking about. So it's essential to further increase the speeds and lower the latency as well as to increase the connections. And those are the important things we do in order to let more people benefit from the technology and to make the technology easier to use.
那么在这个连接的趋势上面，除了我们刚才说的这几个方面，可能还有一个就是现在就是说怎么低碳环保，也就是说绿色啊，这样的话就想到我们的连接也要为这个低碳环保来做出贡献。所以说我们想在这一块，就是说高速大带宽啊低时延以及这种广连接，再加上低碳环保，可能是我们未来的整个绿色的发展整个连接的发展趋势。
In addition to those that I have pointed out, one other important factor, a very relevant one for the moment, is low carbon and also environmental protection. So it's essential for the connectivity to solutions to help with low carbon as well. So to sum it up, the trends for connectivity moving forward include high speeds, namely bigger bandwidth, and then low latency, more connections, and low carbon as well.
那么有了这样比较广泛的基础连接以后，作为基础设施，那刚才您提到中东这个区域，我想中东现在是目前比较稳定的区域之一。那么怎么让中东未来能够成为一个科技中心？
In addition to those infrastructure-related focus, as you pointed out, your focus includes Middle East. And Middle East is now one of the most stable regions in the world, and we expect Middle East to become a technology hub or a technology center as well in the future.
那么我们想，中东将来可以建设比较好的、比较先进的这种数据中心。 来在连接的基础上面，也来提供更多的算力结合人工智能为整个未来的智能社会和数字经济的发展也来提供一个好的支撑。
One idea is for Middle East to roll out very advanced data centers so that these data centers can be a powerhouse of very advanced computing capacity, and it can also provide a high level of AI, the intelligence, to enable the future all things connected and all things intelligent world, and also to help promote the development of digital economy.
那同时，因为中东区域也是日照比较长，在全球来说比较长的这种区域之一那么在这里面，光伏发电应该也是未来一个很重要的趋势，因为在中东的光伏发电是其他区域光伏发电效率的2倍。那么怎么来利用这些，把过去中东在 化石能源的优势的基础上面，也怎么来发展非化石能源，也就是现在大家说的清洁能源。那么光伏发电是其中很重要的之一光伏风能所以说太阳能发电怎么来利用这种太阳能发电在欧洲在中东在化石能源的基础上面再来产生一个非化石能源的一个更重要的一个产业，就是光伏发电。
Middle East is one of the regions in the world that enjoy very rich sunshine, and that gives you the strength to develop solar energy, including the PV generation. And that will be also an important trend for the region. And if Middle East could well leverage its great sunshine, then it could potentially have 2 times more efficient solar power generation than other regions in the world. And that would pave the way for building up more edges in the transition from the fossil fuel to clean energy. Middle East has already got a strong foothold in fossil fuels. So the development of the PV or the solar power or other alternative energies such as wind could give the region more edges as well, more competitiveness as well. So the solar sector could be one potential sector for Middle East in the future.
那么中东的智慧交通啊、港口啊等领域，也可以利用5G 啊、人工智能啊、云计算这些技术，使得能够适用的智慧港口、智慧交通等这个领域也可以有很好的发展。
Other promising applications include smart transportation, smart ports. We see great applications of technology such as 5G, artificial intelligence, and cloud in these industries. They can turn the ports and transportation into smart ones, and they are all very promising.
那我也在这里利用这个机会，要求记者可以到中国来看看，一个是我们天津港的5G 加 Air4 的这个自动驾驶的这个智慧港口啊，以及我们在青海的海南州的这个600多平方公里的这个光伏发电的啊，就去看现场，可以去看一看。
With this opportunity, I would like to extend an invitation to the reporter. Welcome to China and see it for yourself. And we can offer you a tour around the Tianjin port. It's a great showcase of how 5G is combined with level 4 autonomous driving to enable smart ports. And we've got another great case in Qinghai, and it's a 600 kilometers solar farm. And these are real cases that you can go and visit.
Very good. I promise I will come back to the room in a moment, but a couple more online, or at least one more online. We will go to, forgive the pronunciation, I hope this is right, Innocente Nice. You want to unmute? Doesn't look promising. We may come back to you. Oh no, do you want to ask your question if we can hear you? No, I'm not sure the sound is working there. There you go, the challenge of connectivity. Should we go back to the bigger screen? And try...
Yes.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. No, go ahead, actually. Innocente Nice, do you want to try that again?
Yeah, okay, right. I'm Innocent from Togo. I'm a journalist.
Yeah, go ahead, ask your question.
So, okay, in Africa, which areas will benefit from expanded and improved connectivity? And what criteria does Huawei use to develop connectivities in this area? And what will be the cost of such a project on the continent? Thanks.
这是来自于非洲的问题啊，在非洲要解决的一个挑战就是如何去进一步的去扩大连接，去发展连接。那想请问一下，这些方面有什么样适合非洲的办法？那么这些方案的话，从成本上来说是需要投入多大的成本？谢谢。
你看看，有些技术方面的或者解决优势方面的，你说说，非洲。
我们针对这个非洲这种典型的区域的连接，确实华为有专门的团队做了长时间的这个创新。
To address the connectivity in Africa, Huawei has teams of experts and have spent a lot of time on product innovation to address those challenges in Africa.
因为一方面，这些区域有普遍覆盖的这个义务，为了改善当地的人民的生活。同时，作为运营方也要考虑他质回报的问题，两者需要兼顾。
In order to provide for a connectivity and coverage in the region, there are different factors to think about. On the one side is the obligation to provide coverage because that is like a precondition to improve people's lives there. And at the same time, as the operator, you have to think about return on investment as well.
因此，对设备供应商来说，我们要做的就是保证在用在这些地区覆盖的产品和解决方案成本极低，解决方案极简，质量保持一个优质的水平。
As an equipment supplier, what we are trying to achieve here is to make sure that the solutions we provide for the region will be most cost-effective, most simplified, and of superior quality.
我们通常在城区的站点的建设，拿无线为例子，一般的我们在很短的时间，比如说1到5年，是吧？根据不同的区域不太一样，就能收回成本。但是由于这种边缘的覆盖，可能很多人口就1000个或者500个，那么它的 UP 值也很低，我们也要考虑它在适当的周期内取得商业上的回报。
To give you some examples, if we are talking about rolling out wireless sites in the urban areas, then the payback time is about 1 to 5 years, but of course it differs by regions. And if we're talking about rolling out the wireless sites in the remote areas, given the small population there, it may be just 1,000 or 500 residents there, and the low ARPU of the local residents, the payback period would be longer than what we see from the urban areas.
我们在解决方案上，首先就是降低基础设施的这个成本，把比较坚实的铁塔换成简单的这个报杆。另外，我们把以前比较厚重的供电的解决方案，包括像这个去拉湿电或者是用油机，换成了纯太阳能供电的这个方式。同时，我们也实现了远程的这个极简运维，通过上述种种的手段来降低在边缘区域的建站的 OPEX、CAPEX 和 OPEX， 这样我们基本上统计了一下，也能使得这些区域的投资回报能在1到3年内完成。
We have made several efforts in order to drive down the cost of the infrastructure. Firstly, we help replace the heavy towers to simple poles. Second, we have replaced a more power-consuming solution to a more power-efficient solution. We changed it from the power supply from the mains electricity or diesel engines to solar solutions. And thirdly, we have implemented remote operation and maintenance. All of these are measures to help reduce OPEX and CAPEX in the rollout of infrastructure in the remote areas. Through such measures, we managed to shorten the payback time to 1 to 3 years in these delivery projects in the remote areas.
Very good. Let's take 2 more questions. One from here in the room, because it's been some time. Hand shot up at the back.
你好，我是来自香港大公文汇传媒集团的记者。我想问一下，在中国国内呢，我们有看到华为正在将那个5G 技术应用到煤矿的场景当中。那么从网络覆盖的角度来看呢，煤矿等场景也是属于一种偏远地区的这个网络覆盖。所以我想问一下，在这些地方带来的链接的价值是在哪里呢？谢谢。
那我想这一块。
It's a question from Hong Kong. In China, we see that Huawei is now making efforts to deploy 5G in the coal mines. And if we look at the characteristics of such projects, it also fall into the category of providing network coverage in remote areas. So we would like to understand what is the business value for Huawei to deliver projects of this kind.
因为讲的煤矿这个行业是一个工业的应用场景在这个工业因为煤矿大概我们在450到500这个公里这个500米以下这样的连接把它连接起来以后，是井下的这种作业，一方面是能够实现远程的控制另外一方面底下的这种视频高清的视频、大带宽的视频可以传送上来，那这个使让作业可以在地面来作业，实现对地下、井下的设备的这种操作。
The coal mine scenario actually is one of the industrial scenarios, and if you observe the operations of the coal mines, they have to work like 450 to 500 meters underground. And it's important for the coal mines to be able to have remote controls of their operations in the wells, as well as have the networks to transmit the high-definition video to above ground, so that they are able to carry on the operations and process the HD videos above ground.
那通过5G 加人工智能这样的技术，这样的连接以后包括当然还有一部分光纤那我想这些连接就使得我们对 整个工业的这一些场景，刚才讲的煤矿，还可能矿山啊，包括这样的一些作业井下作业，那能够实现远程的这种实时控制啊，远程的实时控制。
The connectivity solutions for such industrial scenarios include 5G, artificial intelligence, and some fiber as well. And these solutions can enable coal mines and other reserves to have a remote and real-time control of the operations in the wells.
那这样的连接实现之后，带来的价值就是实现了整个这样的一些作业方式的极大的改变。啊，过去我们在井下的作业的这种安全性啊，在井下的这种环境的恶劣性，那么如果把这些远程操控，包括视频的实时监控等等这些检测完成之后，那么在这样的作业可以在我们就像我们这样的这样的一个办公室里面，或者一个这个操控间里面，那实现对这个井下的作业的这种操作，我想这是带来了整个生产方式极大的改变。
The operations in the wells is actually very dangerous, and the working environment is very harsh. By applying these new technologies to realize remote control and real-time inspection, the miners can just sit in the offices or the control rooms to do the operations remotely, and it's much safer. I would say it's a great disruption to the operations of coal mines.
Let's have the final question then. I did promise there was one more from online. If anyone has their hand, yes, one person has their hand up. And again, I think we've got quite a few people in Bangladesh, so we'll take a question to finish from Bangladesh.
Hello.
Hi there.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you very clearly.
The concept, connect the unconnected, is based on rural area where the number of base stations is few and have difficulties there. Actually, how much investment is required to ensure better connectivity there, and what changes can it bring to there? Thank you.
这是孟加拉的一个问题。我们讲的这个连接啊，其实主要是说偏远地区的这个连接问题。但是这个偏远地区的话，人也比较少。那么要提供这种连接的话，一般需要多大的这个投资？那么能给当地生活的人带来什么样的一变化？
有多大投资？我不知道。
就是关于这个投入，我刚才也提到了，就是利用华为现在领先的创新的解决方案，我们能够实现在偏远地区的覆盖，运营方的这个投资回报的周期和在城市里面相当。
With regards to how much investment is needed, it's actually related to the answer I gave to a previous question. And Huawei now has developed and launched leading innovations. And through such leading innovation, we're able to shorten the payback time in the delivery projects in remote areas. So it's comparable to the payback time in the delivery in the urban environments.
这样，政府、运营商和合作伙伴也就更有动力去连接更多的微连接。
Because of the shortened payback time, whether it's the governments or the telecom operators or the other partners in the solutions would be better motivated in launching such solutions and rolling out the network infrastructure to connect the unconnected.
以加纳为例，其实华为的这个若尔斯塔最开始也是在加纳开始部署的。到目前为止，我们已经部署了超过2000个的这个站点，为340万的偏远人口提供了良好的移动互联网的连接。
Let's go back to the place where we started the deployment of Rural Star, which is Ghana. Now we have already rolled out over 2,000 Rural Star sites in Ghana, benefiting over 3.4 million people in the rural areas. They are now able to access mobile broadband.
正如我们在前面的视频中间看到， 在没有网络覆盖之前，人们往往要走很长的时间，走几十公里去附近的镇上，或者去找一个有信号的地方，就是为了打一个电话。那有了网络之后，他们就坐在家里，就能够坐在家里享受便捷的医疗、教育，问候远方的亲人。
From the video, we see some people have to travel far, a dozen thousand kilometers in order to make a call. They have to travel to the areas where there is actually a reception for them to make the call, to make it connected. But now with the network infrastructure, they can make the call by staying at the home. They can also access healthcare service, remote healthcare and education as well.
我们相信，随着我们华为创新的入耳系列解决方案在全球的规模部署，会有越来越多的未连接的人连接到移动网络上来，享受便捷的生活和服务。
We believe as we further the scale of the Rural Star series products of Huawei, we will be able to help more people connected to the internet. We'll help them enrich their lives and provide them access to quality services.
Many thanks to Cao Ming, Liang Hua, and the very fast-writing Liu Rui. That is all we have time for today, and thanks also to all the contributors and speakers that we've had here today. Thanks to you all here and online for attending, and also I should say thanks to the production staff and the crews for making this actually happen. We hope that COVID will allow us to meet again in future and actually connect face-to-face for those of us who've joined online or those who did join online. But with that, we'll draw this event to a close, and thank you all again very much.
嘉宾，也感谢这个曹总还有梁博，感谢写字很快的口译，当然也感谢在深圳以及在线上出席的各位嘉宾。我们希望也感谢这个工作人员，希望在新冠疫情几个月有所缓解的时候，我们能够再次面对面的交流。再次感谢大家，今天的活动到此结束。